Professor Gianluca Di Antonio is currently the Academic Director of the Master's Program in Cybersecurity at IE School of Human Science and Technology. He is also a partner in cybersecurity with Deloitte, Spain, leading the practice for competence capability building at the Deloitte Cyber Academy and Cyber Crisis Management. If you have any questions at any time during the talk, please ask them in the chat window, and the professor will do his best to answer all of them at the end. With that, I will give the floor to Professor Gianluca, so please join me in welcome again.
Welcome, everybody. First, I would like to thank you for joining us today to share this awareness session. Second, is to get useful information about emerging threats in cybersecurity and figure out which practices can help us mitigate digital risk. In this session, we will try to point out several considerations related with technology, processes, and people. Technology is agnostic. It can be used for or against you. In a digital connected world, every new tech innovation also creates a new cyber attack vector. Digital risk management is the only way to counteract emerging threats. Digital transformation without cybersecurity is self-sabotage. To be prepared is the only way to face digital threats. Digital transformation is a reality. Several disruptive technologies are changing our life at a level unknown before. Robotics is becoming a normal support to assist us in many activities. Autonomous things will introduce in our life cyber-physical systems that will increase exponentially their value by saving lives, helping people, and doing any sort of artworks. Our dependence on technology is a growing trend. During current global health crisis generated by COVID-19, we all realize how much technology means for us. Smart working became, in many cases, the only way. Through communication technology, we overtook social distancing. We are going to share our life with new tech innovation, smart building, smart appliance, automated vehicles, assembly line with robots and drones. Enabling the Internet of Things require a number of logical and physical layers, working seamlessly together. Device sensors, communication chips, and network are only the beginning. The additional services in ambient computing add even more layers: integration, orchestration, analytics, event processing, and artificial intelligence. Finally, we come to business layer. The people and processes bringing business scenarios to life. Between each layer is a SIEM, and there are cybersecurity risks within each layer and in each SIEM. One of more obvious cybersecurity implications could be an explosion of potential vulnerabilities, often in objects that historically lacked connectivity and embedded intelligence. For example, machinery, facility fleets, and employees may now include multiple sensors and signals, all of which can potentially be compromised. We should be extra cautious with ambient computing scenarios, move from signal detection to actuation, a state in which devices automatically make decisions and take action on behalf of a human. The future of mobility will be autonomous, and the future is now. Many countries are developing automatic transport systems to enhance mobility. Autonomous vehicles will reduce accidents, will ensure traffic rules are respected, will take us everywhere and at any time, no matter if we don't have a driver license. Remember, we states in a digital connected world, every new tech innovation also creates a new cyber attack vectors. Relying on technology also means that every contingency impacting technology could leave us exposed to risk. A driverless car could become a weapon if there is no protection to avoid hackers taking control of the vehicles. According to Global Risk Report of World Economic Forum, in 2019, we lost $26.2 billion with business email compromise attack. 42.8% of all malicious attachments were Microsoft Office documents. Phishing scams increased at 667% in only 1 month during the COVID-19 pandemic. 30% of phishing messages were delivered on Mondays. 32.5% of all malicious email used the keyword payment in the email subject. Cyber criminals are analyzing and studying us every day, at every moment, in every technology layer we are using. Cyber attacks are one of the top 10 global risks of highest concern in the next decade, with an estimated price tag of $19 trillion if cybersecurity efforts do not keep pace with cybersecurity has emerged as one of the most important systemic issues for the global economy. Collective global spending has now reached $145 billion a year, and is predicted to have exceeded $1 trillion in the period between 2017 and 2021. Incidents and attacks continue to rise, but this is only the tip of a new and growing problem. The challenge created by accelerating technological innovation have reached a new level of complexity and scale. As we mentioned before, today responsibility for cybersecurity in organization is no longer one chief security officer job. It involves everyone. Because everything is becoming software-based, it means that everything can be hacked, exploiting software vulnerabilities and misconfiguration. We must abandon the romantic idea that computers are the main target of a cyber attack. We are going to live in a world in which every device around us will be a computer, and for instance, will be a target. Home appliance, wearable, payment terminals can be a target. And because of that, we have to include it under our cyber shell. Let me point out just a few cyber attacks that have targeted the Middle East region in recent years. Well, we remember this year, 2020, when Dalila application was the target of a cyber attack with exposed more than 5 million users in Saudi Arabia. And even we can remember different vector of cyber attack, like VUCA, Dasman, Jonrad, are just the peak. They are just the peak of the iceberg if we consider all the attacks that every day the region receives. In this massive, unprecedented wave of digital transformation, cybersecurity operations are a vital element of every business success. Align the objective of every business strategy with the with the business strategy and the cybersecurity organization is a priority in every institution who looks for a sustainable business model. Until today, cybersecurity industry prefer to style fear to sell product, while cybersecurity leaders should focus on positioning cybersecurity as an integral component of their business strategy and success. Transforming cybersecurity from a support function into a business-enabling function requires a broader view and a stronger communication skill set that was required previously. As an integral part of today's business success, cybersecurity has a direct influence on business reputation, stock value, revenue, brand equity, customer relations, and product time to market. Information and digital risk management has grown as a digital transformation did. Now it includes not only technical security threats, but also privacy and regulatory concerns. This cross-functional scope requires collaboration with many internal stakeholders before a crisis, not after a cybersecurity breach. Traditional standalone cybersecurity teams is destined to fail. Manage business innovation process without embedded a proper information digital risk analysis means a reactive approach to cybersecurity. If we rely on technology, we must ensure that this technology will be used in an appropriate and secure way. To achieve this, we need to build a strong culture for cybersecurity. Kids, our kids, must learn how to protect themselves from cyber threats. Workers must change the way they use technology to mitigate digital risk. Public institutions have the responsibility to consider cybersecurity as a public good. Private institutions must invest in cybersecurity to make their business sustainable. And finally, decision maker and manager have to assume cybersecurity as a key responsibility of their duties. To build a robust cybersecurity culture is everyone's responsibility and needs to be structured as a cross-functional task.
Cybercriminal phishing techniques for hunting us. Imagine that you decide to dip your toes into the world of phishing. You head to a phishing shop so they can tell you exactly what you'll need to be an excellent fisherman. The first thing they'll say is that there are different types of phishing that depend on the techniques we use, the type of fish we want to catch, and the environment in which we use our gear. Now that you can picture that, try to switch this scenario to the internet. Cybercriminals try to fish for us using different types of hooks. Look. Net or generic phishing. The aim is to obtain small amounts of money or sensitive information that can be sold on the online black market. Emails are sent on a mass scale to a large number of potential victims. Basically, the more people that receive the email, the greater the possibility of success. Spear phishing. In these cases, attackers do not try to reap many small benefits from many different victims. Instead, you are the sole target. Cybercriminals will study you using any where you spend time. This will allow them to craft special attacks that seem more believable so that you don't suspect them to be scams. You're probably asking, but why do they do it? It may be to steal personal information or because they've marked you as an easy target in your organization. If you'd like to prevent this from happening, be careful with the information that exists about you online. Still large sums of money. Whaling refers to when an attacker prepares a spear phishing attack against an executive, and CEO fraud is another type of attack that is becoming increasingly common in the business world. An attacker spoof the identity of a senior figure in a company and try to get an employee with access to the company's bank accounts to urgently and discreetly transfer a large amount of money. Let's see an example. Your boss sends you an email explaining that they're about to board an aeroplane to Switzerland to attend a very important meeting. You know that this is true because you saw it on social media. Your boss tells you that in order to close the deal, the company needs to transfer a large amount of money and that it needs to be done ASAP, since the plane is about to take off and it needs to be validated beforehand. They say they're leaving it in your hands because they trust you personally. Would you fall for the bait? To prevent these attacks, always verify the truthfulness of any unusual requests via a different channel and do not respond directly to the message. Now you know some of the bait that attackers will try to use to catch you. Be careful and don't get fished. Remember, we are all responsible for protecting information.
As you have seen in this video, you don't need to be boring to talk about cybersecurity. You don't need to be too touchy to explain how to protect yourself, how we can protect ourselves from cyber criminal. Cybersecurity education is about behavioral change, and we can use a lot of different storytelling, gamification methodology, and everything to approach in an easy way to understand the relevance of cybersecurity. As I mentioned before, our kids need to understand the risk behind the internet to navigate in a safely way. To do this, we have to embed cybersecurity concern and education in every step, in every action we take in the digital world. In the past, we had a castle to protect, no matter what it contained inside. Now we have to protect an entire city. This digital society in which we are living, connected with other byways, with multiple types of inhabitants, building, time schedules, work habits, and so on. This changing environment doesn't mean that the security perimeter has disappeared. It has changed. Instead, it has shifted to the user and their multiple endpoints. As a result, identity has become the new perimeter. Every day, users make decisions that can have as much impact on security as the technical control we are able to use. Let me give you 6 good practice, 6 advices to improve your security, to protect in a better way your organization, to defend your family from cyber threats. First, enforce digital identity. Building a strong identity and access management system begin with having a single trustworthy reference of all users and their role within an organization. It is essential to have a strong process and automated system in place to ensure appropriate access right approval mechanism, including for access termination upon an employee departure or at the end of an engagement with a third party. Not all users across the organization access in the same way, or they get to be they get the right access to use the same information. When defining the role and policies for every user within an organization, the principle of least privilege access should prevail, always. For instance, a project engineer doesn't need access to an organization's financial data, and a finance manager does not need to access the organization production code repository. Second message: digital security is no longer an option. Many times we still hear people, managers talking about cybersecurity as a luxury they can't afford, as something, as a value added for their business. There is no value without security. Security is about sustainability in your business strategy. Digital security is no longer an option. The digital dilemma is not about with or without security, because without security, digital transformation will rush us into a digital jungle. The only way to mitigate risk related with the use of latest technology is by embedding security into every phase of a project development. Only by analyzing the risk related with our new business process before, during, and after development, we can ensure a proactive security approach. The stakes for us are tremendously high. We can't assume a digital society if trust is at risk or not allowed. Security by default means security by design and after. Security by default means to embed the security in every phase of the life cycle management of a data. New attack vectors and techniques are continuously changing the threat landscape. The question is not if, but when a significant breach will occur, and therefore, how well a company manages. This is inevitably critical. Organizations must monitor cyber threat both internally and externally, and regularly probe critical and internet-facing systems for weakness. Moreover, they will need to monitor the internet, social media, and the dark web for stolen data and information on key executive and business operations that could be used for social engineering, spear phishing attack, and scam campaign, as we saw in the video before. Apply a zero trust approach to securing your environments means need to know access right management to allow minimum information gathering, segregation of role and duty to avoid abuse, full system monitoring to track every operation happening in your organization, data leak prevention to protect your business information, ethical hacking to challenge your security every day, every month, every year, third-party audit to ensure you're doing it well, and so on must become your security routine. Cybersecurity is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And 5, when we talk about digital transformation, we can't deny we are living in a VUCA context. Remember, what does it mean? A context defined by 4 attributes: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. No matter than the digital world in which we are living is a VUCA environment in which we can find all these attributes every day. Develop and practice a comprehensive crisis management plan. Crisis management is a critical component of any security program in today's world. We are security incident, where a security incident is no matter of if, but when. A typical security organization that focuses solely on analyzing and mitigating the risk to prevent an attack may not be well positioned to manage the day after an attack. It means how to manage a crisis. Building a dedicated team with the aptitude for crisis management, stress tolerance, is the first step in our journey to be resilient. Develop a cross-functional team. The scope of the team ranges from executive leadership and includes the operation, finance, legal, communication, insurance, human resource and technology departments. All the organization must be involved in this crisis management plan. Do not forget, practice regular tabletop exercise and simulation to ensure readiness in the event of a crisis. Don't be panic, and the only way is exercises yourself and your organization, prove your security, face threat hunting within your organization. And sixth, and finally, we are approaching the end of this section. You are not alone in the digital space. We need a lot of suppliers. We rely on our supplier. They access our system every day. They manage our data. They deliver us key services. They manage our operation many times. Nevertheless, they can be our Trojan horse. Nearly 50% of companies fail to assess their hardware and software supplier level of cyber risk. A hacker will proactively work to identify and exploit the weakest link in a value chain. Even here with our supplier, we must define a zero trust approach to securing the supply chain. And this must be the norm. This means you must evaluate how your supplier manages cybersecurity in order to protect their, but also your system. Before to start your questions time, let me remind you the 4 or 5 key concepts about cybersecurity in today's digital world. Cybersecurity is not a luxury, it's a basic concern if we rely on technology. Digital transformation without a proper digital risk management is a self-sabotage. It can rush us into a digital jungle in which poor regulation, cyber criminal organization, VUCA contest can enhance vulnerabilities for us. And we can be exposed to this vulnerability because we are learning day by day how ransomware, scam attack, denial of service attack are exposing and are even many times disrupting our business operation. And so our duty is to compound these complex scenarios in which, as we learn from the defense strategy, when they face a VUCA environment, you can't stay quiet. You have to react the only way to face and survive a VUCA contest is acting, is taking action, make decision about your cybersecurity strategy. How improve and build your cybersecurity culture. Second, enhance your digital identity administration. Third, test yourself every day to discover weakness in your infrastructure. Remember, every day we have to face threats, and the only way to manage these uncertain and complex scenarios is building teams able to manage a crisis, building cross-functional teams in which not just technology and security teams are involved, but even the rest of the company. Align cybersecurity strategy with business strategy. We talk many times about business-driven security. It means that we have to understand that cybersecurity and business strategy can't be divergent. They must work together in the same direction. There is no time to be a cybersecurity or a business, better, a business stopper. The function of cybersecurity is to help business to go faster, to mitigate risk, and to get all the value from the new technology tech innovation. Okay, and now we can go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Professor. So we have one question, which is asking, how can the organization pre-plan to avoid any cybersecurity threats?
Okay, the question is very useful to point out another key factor or key practice to manage cybersecurity: risk analysis. You have to analyze your business processes to understand where the risk, the inherent risk related with the use of new technology is. And so, first step, analyze the risk related with the use of new technology in your business processes. And then choose the best strategy to develop your cybersecurity shield, putting in place all the measures, all the mechanisms, and all the processes to mitigate risk in terms of digital identity management, in terms of investment in technology to protect your perimeter, to analyze all the traffic within your organization.
Thank you, Professor. Another question is, what type of skills are required for an organization to build a cybersecurity strategy?
Well, first skill, to be open-minded to the new rationale for digital risk. So, company and organization that are still denying that cybersecurity is a general concern, and if they still assume that cybersecurity is just a duty for IT and security teams, they are doing wrong. They will be exposed to the risk because they will be not able to understand how to cope with digital risk from a business perspective.
Okay. So, Professor, I think these are the only questions we have. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time, for this wonderful talk. And I would also like to thank everyone that attended the program, the talk, and we hope to see you all in the future.
Okay.
Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and in the social network if you want, then ask me questions after this session. It was a pleasure to share with you this session talking about cybersecurity. Remember, cybersecurity is not a luxury, it's a necessity to survive to the digital jungle.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
Good evening. Bye-bye.
Good evening to everybody.